Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back for a little bit shorter of a video, but I wanted to hamper on this a little bit more today by actually covering some of what we've kind of got a little sneak peek in a couple days ago for things that are going to be coming. And I also want to provide I don't know if I want to say a sneak peek, but a little bit of clarity that we were able to get from the CC team I had saw posted about one of the, I guess two of the new things that are going to be coming out in the V2.1 update. And before we get started and talk about that, give you my feedback and thoughts, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find that in the description / pin comment below. Okay, so let's go ahead and show off, if we can. Where is my handy dandy notebook? Here we go. Bam. So let's hit it with this, and we're going to hit it with not that. I guess I'll just, you know what? We'll do it this way. This will be a million times easier now that I think about it. And voila. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and we'll show off now the 2.1 update, some of the things that are coming, and I'm going to give you some, I guess, a little bit of some additional tidbits that aren't listed here. So, coming in 2.1, so this is going to launch May 19th. That's 6 days from now, by the time hopefully this video gets uploaded. Lucas is here to introduce the highlights of this new update. The new training camp, season upgrades, forecast, relocation, free relocation event, and other exciting content will go live when the update is finished. There's tons of surprises for you in the version 2.1. Tap the highlighted image to get a preview. So, let's click this image and let's take a look. So, we're going to have a training camp. With this, It seems as though you'll be able to, from what it looks like, preset your team to challenge another team in a kind of arena style fight. Now, maybe you can do 1v1s, maybe you'll be able to do 3v3s, right, where maybe you can mimic some PvP environment and some arena environment. I think we're still waiting to figure that one out. However, and then in addition, I think there's some questions where, hey, are you going to be limited to just using your troops? Or are you going to be like what you actually have in your marches? Or are you going to be able to use anything? An example here would be, right, and again, if we're kind of inferring based on the image, let's just say if this is accurate, then you could see someone like Hannibal Barca, King Arthur, right, being used multiple times, Ken Emperor being used multiple times, right, in this layout. So, again, maybe you infer from that where you can double up on certain, but is it limited to just what you have access to? Or can you test anything anywhere, right? Where you could test any immortal, you can set their levels to either max or basic, and then you can do thorough testing. If so, that would be dope. I will say that. If they allow for this to be what I hope it will be, which is, right, allow for any character to be used, right, set the example for, you know, allow them to do max, where you just basically say, like, okay, cool, that would just be the most ideal testing, is you set it for, okay, hey, all these characters are max, right, they're best gear, right, and you could say with the exception of using talk skills, right, or artifacts. You could say just do it for max level, max boost, and maybe just best gear or something. Even if you take gear out, I don't think that's really going to affect it. You could still see, for the most part, what it looks like in kind of the end game meta for testing, right? So I think for testing purposes, that's extremely important. Now, I hope it's going to be something like that, but we'll see. If it's not, I think that would be a little bit of a letdown where, you're only going to be able to kind of test what you have in your current pool. Now, if you could test against other players' marches, that would be cool as well. However, I don't think that's absolutely necessary, because as long as you're able to access any immortal and you can do the testing that way, this can be an extremely effective and very important feature that I actually think is a great addition for the game. Next, let's get to the season upgrades forecast. So for this, it says we're going to get more new immortals, and then we're going to get either more immortal artifacts, or there's going to be some upgrades there. It says more new immortals coming soon, right? So Season 3 preview. So again, this is interesting because if you look at the kingdoms at the moment, And let's just go back here for a sec. So let's look at the ones, hopefully my only one, that are in Season 3. You can see here that you have 12 groups that are in Season 3, right? Each with 8 alliances, at least from what we were able to see. All are in the war zone at the moment as well. And so with this, what is that, 12, 8, if I could do some math, 80, 96, right? So you got 96 kingdoms that are going to be experiencing the new feature, or we should say the new Season 3 unlocks that are going to be coming. That in and of itself is, I would say at least, something to look forward to as well. It just, I think it depends on the new Immortals, right? Are they going to be gated again? And if so, that will probably be more of a letdown. What's going to happen with the Immortal artifacts? Are we going to get more hard specific ones that are used where they're unique artifacts per Immortals, and it kind of makes doing all the other Immortal artifacts not really obsolete, if you will, or it's not that big of a thing, unfortunately, when you think about how it was before, where you could pretty much have a select choice, to now going with arguably a unique artifact that kind of almost voids all the investment that you put into it before that, whether that be time and or money. So we'll see on how that goes. The next thing here I'm going to touch on is going to be the free relocation event. So this is something we got a little bit of clarity on, because people were asking, hey, can I take my account from, let's say, server 1 and just do a free move over to server 100, right? From what we heard on the that was clarified a bit, is that it's going to be more small or shorter ranges that they can move. I think an example that was provided is that they might be able to go from server 2 to server 8, right? Something like that, where it's going to maybe be within 10 to 20 kingdoms or servers that you'll be able to go for. Again, there's nothing specific. That was just an example that was provided on the explanation given for it being shorter rather than a larger pool of where you can go to. Now, from what we understand, it should be a free relocation event or a free migration teleport that they can use. What I will say on this is I don't actually think it's a bad or the worst thing. I do think it's okay when you're thinking about it for people that are looking to just kind of move out. However, it kind of negates the point or the system in place of migration, right? You're just going to hand out free relocations to do. Now, maybe the free relocation event is with you relocating and maybe you start with less than what you have. Maybe it just ends up being a pure migration type relocation event. However, if they just lowered the price on new world bundles to get more migration scrolls, or increased the amount of migration items or space teleports that you would get at the higher levels, at the higher payment, so it makes more sense, and it doesn't scale off the higher you go in the amounts per each new world bundle at the highest tiers. That would even make more sense. Lowering the cost to get migration space teleports from the Alliance shop, instead of having to wait for Alliance level 9, right? Lower that to Alliance level 5. All right, wait for Alliance levels for 5 to start getting those, and then maybe make the credits 15,000 instead of 20. I mean, these are just some examples on things that can be done to increase migration, along with, like we've mentioned before, just allow for the kingdoms to manage the cap how they see it. Don't set a predefined cap. Let them manage the cap. Trust me, people will move. It's just because you're giving a kingdom the power to control the cap does not mean that no one is ever going to be able to go anywhere. Trust me, they will still find homes. I've never seen that happen in a couple of the kingdom builders I've played for a while, where migration is very prevalent. It's not something that really kind of shuns them away. Even if, a good example, if you look at the BXS top merger migration that ended up happening, right? And people, we were covering that. I covered that. Others did as well. Just kind of talking about, hey, this is a really big group, right? Just make sure you're vetting and you're asking questions appropriately like you would for anyone else. Because you're responsible for who you let into your kingdom and, what the expectations are for people coming in. They still found great options to go to where they landed in 57. Now you look at 57 being such a strong kingdom in the game, right? And still going strong from what it looks like so far. right? That just goes to show you that people are still going to find a way, even though a cap had to be raised to get a lot of those players into that kingdom. So this is why I say I think it's important when we look at how we're going to improve the current ecosystem and how important that is for migration when we talk about the free relocation event for what little we know at the moment. Okay, that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, when we start getting more information coming out for what's going to be in 2.1 as they start either releasing more highlight infographics or just more posts to give us more information on what is going to be coming out, we'll be here to cover it. I would, of course, love to know what are your thoughts on what these 3 parts are that I covered today, right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you excited about training camp? Do you have hopeful expectations like I do? Are you worried at all about possibly what's going to be happening with the new Immortals coming out, if they're gated or not? Immortal artifacts, we're going to see more unique artifacts that make the other ones obsolete to a degree. And then the free relocation event, right? What do you think about that? What's your hope for how that should play out as well? Let me know anything and everything in those comments below. That's it for me. Until next time, I'll catch you later.